Welcome back to the channel. This your boy Rich Latta here, back with another video. It's been a few days since we checked in, but we are back to talk about Sheryl Swoopes making some interesting comments about Kelsey Mitchell. In her opinion, according to her latest podcast, she believes that the Fever didn't do a very good job recognizing Kelsey Mitchell. Now, Sheryl Swoopes at it again. That's my first initial reaction thinking about this because, all year it's been easy to kind of cut through a lot of her comments and conduct regarding anything in the axis of Caitlin Clark, whether it was when she was a member of the Indiana Fever or whether she was still at Iowa. Swoopes still, has a podcast that's platformed by the league. And, on that, it was a November 6th episode. She was on there with Terica Foster Brasby. And, her exact quote was, "Personally, here's why I think the Fever didn't do a very good job." And that was what Kelsey Mitchell, who's an unrestricted free agent. She made sure to throw that in there. Because Kelsey Mitchell had a hell of a season this season, and I don't think she got the credit that she deserved. So in my mind, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, is there a nugget of truth in there with what she's saying? I don't really know because I don't know what the Fever were supposed to do for Kelsey Mitchell aside from post her highlights, drop content with her, promote her as one of their stars, all things that they've done, campaign for her for awards, campaign for her to make the All-Star team, which she did, and position her as somebody that is a part of their core, which they clearly have done. Between, Clark, Mitchell, Boston, that's the unit right there that's going to take this team, to the promised land. Kelsey Mitchell is in that was her 7th season in the league. So, I just want to know where all these complaints were previously, what was Sheryl Swoopes, campaigning for Kelsey Mitchell in 2019, 20, 21? Because, you can pull up her basketball reference page. Stats are relatively the same. Couple more points here and there. Good shooting percentages pretty much all across the board. But Kelsey Mitchell was a player that was a winner within a losing system. There was almost no reason to ever celebrate her before this year. She made the All-Star game in 2023. You can celebrate that. If Kelsey Mitchell's your best player, I think we would have saw the results already. So, with Caitlin Clark coming in, she kind of fell into her natural position, which is a bucket getter, which is somebody that is your number 2 option, or even number 3, depending on who's feeling it or not, that is an offensive assassin. And Caitlin Clark is one of the biggest reasons it made it easier for Kelsey Mitchell to shine. And the Fever do not get as far as they did this year without Kelsey Mitchell catching fire in the second half of the season. She has game-breaking offense. She is someone that doesn't need a system to go out and get it. But there's a difference between going out and getting it and going out and winning. So the combination of her skills and Caitlin Clark's skills and Aaliyah Boston's skills, that makes them a threat. That makes them uncomfortable for people like Sheryl Swoopes who see this thing coming. And we saw it earlier this season. We saw a lot of people upset that Kelsey Mitchell didn't win Player of the Month. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark had, better stats in every category and was the leader of the team and ended up in 4th in MVP voting and ended up 1st team All-League. Kelsey Mitchell probably had an argument for 2nd team All-League, but the voters didn't see it that way. What Kelsey Mitchell will turn into is what Scottie Pippen has turned into for bad faith LeBron James, Michael Jordan haters, essentially. So they'll prop up how great Scottie Pippen was, just to tear down the real target a little bit more. Meanwhile, Scottie Pippen never won a damn thing by himself. He was a great secondary player, champion, Hall of Famer. And the way Kelsey Mitchell's career is set up, she's not really within the same generation as Boston and Clark. Boston and Clark are 22 and 23 years old. Kelsey's going to be 29 next year. So her decline will seemingly come a little bit faster, and eventually she will be someone that either the team moves on from, or she makes a move like kind of like a Klay Thompson, like, oh, it's end of my career, I'm gonna take an easier role somewhere else. But seeing just Sheryl Swoopes do it again, like this is another chapter in the story of Swoopes hates Clark. And quite frankly, I'm going to call out every single one of these and really expose what's going on here. It's a testament to this team, the Indiana Fever, that they stay as locked in and kind of away from, social media as much as they do, and, national media, and don't get tripped up in a lot of the traps like these, because it's easy for Kelsey Mitchell to be like, you know what? They didn't recognize me. And it's, the disease of me, the disease of more. And this team hasn't even won anything yet, and people are trying to sow narratives about it. They're trying to stop this thing before it takes off because they're terrified. That's why. Like, this team is set to own the league for the next decade. Stephanie White's in. Like, the front office isn't playing. I know they're going to be active in free agency. Clark and Boston are going to come back even better. Kelsey's in China going crazy right now. She's got a higher profile at like any point. Like, she'd almost be like, in the thought of her, leaving Indiana, I think that would be like career like suicide at this point. It would almost be like, I take that back. It wouldn't be career suicide because she can get buckets anywhere. So she would be like Kennedy Carter is in Chicago. She would score a bunch of points. People would think she's a talented player, but ultimately it would be like, all right, you're scoring a bunch of points. So when I see Sheryl Swoopes talk about that and send the Fever aren't doing a good job, recognizing her, it's trying to drop a seed. It's trying to drop a nugget. Now, did they do a good job? I seem to recall the Indiana Fever coming up with these super cuts of season mixes promoting her. I seem to recall, Stephanie White mentioning Kelsey Mitchell as a player that she's looking forward to coaching. And it's just interesting to see the hoops that Sheryl Swoopes is trying to jump through to subtly hate. Not mention Caitlin Clark at all, right? But we ultimately know what this is. So what do you think about Sheryl Swoopes' comments? Because when I hear them, those immediate things jump to mind. The boosting of the secondary player, in this case, which would be Kelsey Mitchell, or basically telling that person, man, Scotty, they don't respect you enough. They don't think you really the one. Hey Kobe, they don't think you really the one. When he was playing next to Shaq, and this is like the nasty media stuff that players hate and quite frankly can ruin teams if they tend to let these things fester. So let me know what you think about her comments in the comment section. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, get you a shirt, free spirit, onelifetimeworldwide.com, and I'll holla at y'all. Peace.